What is the big problem with moisturizing? All right, so we're starting this video. I'm Karan Ratti. Hi guys, I'm the skin scientist, and today I'm going to be talking about moisturization and whether or not you're over moisturizing your skin to death. Moisturization is probably the most boring topic that anybody is going to look at, but also one of the most substantial and important topic to discuss, because these days I've seen so many people moisturize their skin so much, and they're talking about moisturizers as if they're like a staple, like bread and butter. Like you have to use them every day. If you don't use it, that somehow you're either an idiot or your skin is gonna just become really bad or something like that. And it's completely not true. It's not true at all, because you have to understand why you even need moisturization. Moisturization was primarily needed because your skin became dry, right? And moisturizers were invented in the Western skin, especially if you look at the US population, for example. In the US, you have people from all over the world, which means that somebody coming from a tropical region, let's say in Africa or in India, where there's already a lot of humidity in the air, and your skin is usually moisturized because there's so much humidity, so you really don't need that much water in your skin. Once you move from a country like this and go to a country like the US, where the temperatures are very low, where the humidity is very low, now your skin for millions of years has evolved in a place like India with high humidity, and now you've moved to the US and now there's low humidity. Your skin cannot manage. It doesn't know how to manage in such low humid conditions. So you needed something to support your skin's moisturization, that natural moisturizing factors that your skin is not making enough of. You need a support for that. Similarly, in the US, the entire population is actually from Europe, most of them from Europe, from Africa, from Middle East, from India, from Southeast Asia, all over the world. People have moved to the US. So their skin is not designed for that weather, for that environment. And so every skin has a different need, different levels of moisturization they need, because otherwise their skin is going to get dry. It's going to become flaky. The other thing that's happening these days is with the use of so many different products, especially some molecules that I'm going to talk about, like niacinamide, retinol, etc. They make your skin very dry. So with overuse of serums, moisturizers, products, treatments, all of these things that we're trying to do on our skin now causes an impairment of the barrier, and your skin cannot produce its own natural moisturizing factors enough, and so your skin becomes dry. And once it becomes dry, even if, in fact, there are some ingredients like niacinamide that even if your skin is actually producing perfectly fine levels of natural moisturizing factors and is naturally moisturized, if you use niacinamide, your sebum secretion is going to reduce, which means your skin is not going to be as oily as it needs to be to protect itself and to maintain the barrier integrity. The barrier, I've already explained in a lot of other videos, is basically the dead layer of skin right on top of your surface of your skin to prevent anything from outside entering inside and to create a hydrophobic layer, which means a water repelling layer, okay, a waterproof layer in some ways. That layer doesn't want your skin to become dry. It wants your skin to retain the hydration and the moisture inside, because your body is 70% water, and water is required for the transport of so many different things, nutrients, ingredients, a lot of internal signaling things. So for your body to function well, you need water, which is why this skin barrier is created to prevent water from going from inside to the outside, but not 100%. And I'm going to cover that. But once you start using niacinamide, for example, the sebum secretion goes down, which means there's no oil layer on top to prevent this water loss from happening. And so you have more water loss and your skin becomes very dry. Have you noticed ever since you started using that 10% niacinamide serum, your skin became drier? You felt the need to use more moisturizer, or that you've started using niacinamide ingredients? Have you ever seen that when you started using retinol, your skin is severely dry? There are other ingredients as well. If you use hydroxy acids, for example, glycolic acid, lactic acid, salicylic acid, you need a heavy moisturizer after that. Otherwise, your skin is going to be dry. Even though it's not going to be flaky, because hydroxy acids actually exfoliate your skin. So any loose, dead skin that's on the surface, they're going to remove it, right? So you're not going to see that flakiness. But if you leave it, you'll feel that tightness. After you use your face wash, your skin becomes dry and tight, which is why we invented Melblok's biorecovery range of face washes, especially the Intense Aloe face wash, because after using face wash, all that oil and all those essential lipids that are necessary for your skin to remain hydrated get lost. So you don't want that. What you want is effective cleaning. You want to remove the contaminants, but you don't want to get rid of those essential lipids, not as much as would create problems. So, which is why we created the biorecovery range of face washes, especially the intense aloe face wash that helps remove contaminants by trapping them rather than overuse of surfactants. So it doesn't dry out your skin as much. Your skin doesn't feel dry and tight, and it's great for dry, sensitive skin. So if you're somebody who has that kind of a problem, your face wash makes your skin dry and tight, then maybe you can try that and see. But coming back, you need moisturization if your skin is getting dry. So it's important to understand why your skin is getting dry. Some of the things I've already mentioned. If you use ingredients that make skin dry, then your skin is going to become dry and you need more moisturization. Also, sometimes when you get some treatments done in skin clinics, those treatments can cause damage to your skin and the natural functioning of the skin gets disturbed. Again, no more natural moisturizing factors, and then you need some external support. If you're traveling to a cold country where the environment and the weather is such that the humidity level is very low, the air is very dry, or it's very windy, it's going to take water away from your skin. And so you need hydration, you need a moisturizer for that reason. But what is the big problem with moisturizing? It's over moisturization. Your skin has a natural way of moisturizing itself. It secretes on its surface something called NMFs, natural moisturizing factors. Now, what are natural moisturizing factors? This is something you really need to know because your skin makes them on its own. Natural moisturizing factors have a bunch of things in it. They have amino acids that hold water on your skin on the surface. It has pyrrolidone carboxylic acid, also known as PCA. That also hydrates your skin. It's a humectant. You would have seen sodium PCA and zinc PCA and all these other PCAs in your skincare products. Those are the PCA component is actually something your skin naturally makes to hydrate itself. These amino acids are made by the skin on its own. Then you have lipids. Now, these lipids can be free fatty acids, cholesterol. Cholesterol is on dairy products have cholesterol. Animal products have cholesterol. Cholesterol is something that we humans or any animal makes, and cholesterol is very important for the skin formation. You have free fatty acids, oleic acid, linoleic acid, palmitic acid, stearic acid. All of these different kinds of fatty acids are created by your skin to moisturize itself, actually to create an occlusive layer so the water doesn't escape. Okay, it's like putting oil on top of, pickles. Your pickles are in oil so that there's no moisture that enters inside, and that's why you have that oil layer on top. Then you also have a very critical component called salt. Your skin creates its own salt, and salt is the most hygroscopic ingredient of them all. It has the highest capacity to hold water. And when the salt is present inside your skin, it creates something called an osmotic process. Osmotic process is just basically water moves from inside the skin, goes up and hydrates the surface of the skin. When I'm talking about the surface, I mean the epidermis layer. Okay, so that salt concentration inside is very important for hydration. Now, if you over moisturize your skin, either your moisturizer is extremely heavy, which means it's very occlusive. Okay, that's a word that we use. Or you're using moisturizers that moisturize your skin for 100 hours. You've got these moisturizers out there, 24 hours, 48 hours, 100 hours. When you use these kind of moisturizers, you're basically removing your skin's natural habits, all right? You're supplying it with too much hydration. And when that hydration becomes too high, this natural osmotic process gets disturbed and it gets impaired, which means it stops functioning. Now, when you get rid of that moisturizer, your skin is going to become drier than when you started using moisturizers. So it would have been better for you to not use moisturizers than to use moisturizers and then impair or disturb the natural moisturizing process of your skin. So it's very important that you don't over moisturize. Now, moisturizers are basically just water, oils, and emulsifier that holds the water and oil together. And then there are various humectants inside. Humectants are ingredients that capture water. If you mix all of these things together, then what you've really done is what your skin naturally does. It has humectants to trap water. You deliver water inside your skin to hydrate so that these humectants can actually just capture the same water that is being delivered from your product. And then you have an occlusive layer, which is these oils that create a layer on top that prevents water from going outside. Now, if you over moisturize, that means that you have not allowed any water loss to happen. In our industry of skin science, because I'm a skin scientist and I make products for a living, I can tell you there is something called transepidermal water loss. It's a fancy word for saying water that's lost by passing through the skin from inside to the outside. And that transepidermal water loss is actually important If you have too much of it, then you're going to have very dry skin. You will have premature aging. You'll have lines and wrinkles. But if you have none of it because you've applied so much moisturizer on your skin, or you've applied petrolatum, or you've applied shea butter, or you've applied cocoa butter and all these other very heavy occlusive agents, then because there's no water loss, this osmotic process gets disturbed. And if there are too many humectants, then your skin naturally doesn't produce any of its humectants. Also, if your products have a lot of preservatives, then they're going to kill the natural bacteria that are on your skin. And these natural bacteria are very important to break down proteins into amino acids that again hydrate your skin. So now that process is also disturbed. So you don't have enough amino acids on your skin. And when you don't have enough amino acids on your skin, again, there's not enough of humectancy and your skin is going to become dry. No wonder with so much use of products these days, people are getting dry skin, they're getting disturbed skin, you're getting acne, redness, irritation, inflammation. And some of these ingredients, like I mentioned, especially retinols and hydroxy acids, they actually make your skin thinner. So there's more water loss, it becomes drier. And then again, the whole skin formation goes out for a toss. So guys, if there's one tip that you should take away from this video is that don't over moisturize your skin. If you want a moisturizer, it has to have the right levels of moisturization so that you don't 100% block your skin out, but at the same time, you don't have too much water loss. Okay. All right. So one of the questions now you're going to ask me is, Karan, fine. You've talked to us about moisturization. Okay. We won't over moisturize our skin, but listen, I need to use retinol. I need to use niacinamide. I need to use all these other ingredients, which I don't know why you need to use. Do you even know why you want to use these ingredients? You really need to know why you're even using these ingredients to use them, not just because somebody's marketed them to you or because you think it's going to make your skin better. I'm going to make a separate video on niacinamide and all these others, but I have made a bunch of other videos about ingredients, especially retinols and vitamin C and hyaluronic acid and collagen and peptides. And you should go and watch them. But if you have to use ingredients, you have to use skincare products, and your skin is atopic, or you've got disturbance in your skin that is causing dryness. So the question is, what kind of moisturizers should I use? Now, look, you can either use basic moisturizers that have been there for a very long time. There are certain brands that I really like. I like CeraVe. I like Cetaphil. If price is a constraint, then CeraVe and Cetaphil are good options. But other than that, you've got so many other brands that are making a lot of very good moisturizers. There's so many Korean beauty brands that are in the market, and et cetera, et cetera. You have to really go through all of these to see which one's going to work for you. But there is no right answer for what kind of moisturizer is good for your skin. I can tell you the ingredients you should try and avoid, like petrolatum. Petrolatum is in Vaseline, petroleum jelly. Petrolatum is highly occlusive, which means it's going to create a 100% occlusive layer. It's going to block your skin 100%. So unless you're somebody who has very dry skin because of whatever reason, you should not use petrolatum. Mineral oils, again, block your skin a lot, right? Any kind of oil. So try and look for moisturizers that have the right balance of lipids, ceramides, cholesterol, and so on and so forth that form the natural barrier of your skin. So there are certain things that you can look for. You can look for whether or not it has ceramides. CeraVe has ceramides. There are other brands that have ceramides. You can look for products that have squalane. Actually, our skin secretes squalene, which is part of the sebum. The oily layer that we create. That oily layer has sebum, which has squalene, and it has other free fatty acids like stearic acid, palmitic acid. So if your moisturizer has squalane, or if it has certain other natural triglycerides, if it has cholesterol, it has ceramides, these are certain interesting lipids and humectants you can look for. Now, there are certain humectants that you should have in your moisturizer, like urea, like glycerin. Betaine is another one. Then PCA is good. Look for sodium PCA. Look for zinc PCA. These are good humectants. You could have sodium lactate. That's also a very good humectant. So if you have these kind of humectant ingredients, those are good. And try to go with minimal ingredient lists. You don't want like 50 ingredients going in your moisturizer, unless you want a specialized moisturizer that can do the job of moisturization plus something else that you need, like an anti-acne moisturizer or an anti-pigmentation moisturizer. For example, Melblok, which is a dermocosmetic brand sold by the top dermatologists in the country, I keep saying this all the time because I 100% believe in it, has a moisturizer called the Pigmentation Control Moisturizing Cream. It has basic SPF of 15. doesn't have the stable screen technology, which is a 12-hour long sun protection technology that the pigmentation control day cream has. But this moisturizer has a technology called moisturize, which balances the levels of occlusion, which means how much blocking do you really need, how much water loss do you want to prevent. It has the right kind of humectants that actually help deliver water deep inside the skin, capture it there without being excessively big that they cannot even travel inside the skin. For example, there are a lot of serums out there which use hyaluronic acid. And I've made a video right here on hyaluronic acid and why it's a total marketing lie, because hyaluronic acid molecule is so big that it cannot penetrate in your skin. So there's no point trying to hydrate your skin with hyaluronic acid. It's only going to sit on the surface of the skin and just plump the dead layer of your skin to make you feel like it's getting hydrated. But the real hydration is going to come from ingredients that are small enough to go inside your skin, like urea, like glycerin, like sodium lactate, like PCA, etc. So moisturize is a technology that balances this kind of humectancy along with the right levels of occlusion to give you the right balance of moisturization, not overly moisturize your skin, but also not under moisturize. So you have the right perfect levels of moisturization that works more or less throughout the year, whether you're in winters in the north part of the world where there's not enough humidity in the air during winters, or you're in summers and you have generally dry skin and you need a little bit more support. So this moisturizing cream kind of helps in all cases. But I've already taken the name of certain brands. Bioderma, I forgot that brand. Bioderma is a very good brand when it comes to moisturization. Now, you would have seen I'm actually taking the names of more or less dermo-cosmetic brands. The reason is because dermo-cosmetic brands, like the ones that I've just mentioned today, including Melblok, really go through a lot of R&D in order to make these products. Okay, usually most of them have patents, like defensible IP and patents and technologies that are proprietary and thoroughly tested and studied and recommended by dermatologists to provide the kind of benefits that you want. So I generally favor dermocosmetic brands over general brands that are available for everyone's use because it's more predictable. You get better results, you get better outcome, and you can actually go to your dermatologist and even ask them about what's the right kind of moisturizer that I need. So, like I said, if your moisturizer has the right levels of ceramides, cholesterol, free fatty acids, even if it doesn't have ceramides, doesn't have cholesterol, doesn't matter. These things are more important if you have disturbed skin. But if you don't have disturbed skin, you're using a moisturizer for maybe, other benefits as well, other than just moisturization. Like I said, you want anti-pigmentation, you want exfoliation, you want certain things else, then it needs to have the right lipid layer that can prevent water loss, the right humectants that can capture water inside, not too much, not too less. But along with that, certain other actives that can help you get rid of your other skin concerns. So I hope with this, I've answered a lot of your questions on moisturization. Again, the key takeaway, guys, is don't over moisturize. Try to use less products. You don't need to go overboard with serums of different kinds. Hyaluronic acid doesn't work. Now you've got this new, it's not new, but it's getting popular. It's called PGA, polyglutamic acid. Again, derived from bacteria, but also present naturally. Polyglutamic acid has a better water holding capacity than hyaluronic acid. But again, it's such a large molecule, just like hyaluronic acid, it cannot penetrate your skin. So if at all, it's just going to make your skin feel better, but it's really not hydrating your skin. So if you really have disturbed skin issues where you have a lot of dehydration, premature aging, breakouts, flakiness, your skin burns when you apply products, then just go to a dermatologist and ask them. They'll probably recommend some of these dermocosmetic brands. They're going to look at your skin and they're going to find out what kind of dryness do you have, how much dryness do you have, how much moisturization do you really need, and then recommend something most likely from within these brands, because whether it's Melblok, CeraVe, Bioderma, these are some of the top brands when it comes to skincare in the dermatology world. So with that, now you know better. Hit that like and subscribe button. Don't go without commenting. Let me know what ingredients, what products you want me to talk about so that I can really go into the depth and explain to you what is the lie in it and what's the truth in it. Why does it work? Why does it not work? And share this with your friends and family who over moisturize their skin, or they are fans of cosmetics and skincare, so that they can also get to know how to correctly moisturize your skin. And that's it. Take care. Bye.